Hello again, guys, and welcome to another My English School Focus. My name is Andrew, and what I'll be doing for today is another 8 to 10 focus, where I'll be talking about your hometown. Okay, so I'll be talking about um, language connected to describing your town or where you live. Okay, and I'll also be talking about some grammar in connection to this subject. Okay, um, these videos are all recorded, guys. So if you're just coming in, that's great. But obviously, if you miss the video too, you can go to our YouTube channel and you can watch this video at any time. Okay, so if you don't understand something, please ask me a question. I will help you during the video. But also, if you prefer to wait and watch the video later, you can do that too. Okay, so let's get started. What we're going to do in this focus is we're going to cover these things. Okay, in this focus activity, describing your hometown, we're going to talk about present perfect tenses and using the words for and since. Okay, present perfect is probably my favorite thing to teach. It's difficult for students to use in a relaxed way when they start, but it's something that just takes a lot of practice, and you'll all be great with it, I'm sure. So let's get into it. Okay, this is a paragraph we're going to look at together first of all, and I'll read the paragraph to you. Pasquale, good afternoon. Nice to see you again. I will read the paragraph to you guys, and then I'll ask you some questions, okay? Small town USA. Anna is from a tiny town in the middle of the United States. She has lived there since she was born. Her town is tranquil and quiet. Hello, Julia, and thank you for the birthday wishes. It's my birthday today, guys, just so you know. There's a broad river that runs along the edge of town, and she has been fishing there since she was a child. The library has been there for 50 years and was just renovated last fall. Hello again, everyone. Hi there. Okay. If she could change one thing about her town, it would be to add a traffic light. Right now, there's only a stop sign and traffic is always jumbled on Main Street. Okay, so guys, I'm going to ask you some questions about this text, okay? Okay, hello there, Patricia. Nice to meet you. Or nice to see you again. First, guys, in this text, I want us to find some synonyms for these words. Small, wide, updated, and a mess. If you know a synonym for one of these words in the text, then please write it in the comment box, okay? Off you go. Robbie, small is tiny. That's correct. Very good. And Pasquale, small is tiny. Julia, small is tiny. Excellent, guys. Tiny is very, very, very small. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Okay, so what about wide, guys? That's a bit more difficult. What's a synonym for wide? Quiet is tranquil. That's very, very good. Yeah, quiet means tranquil. Well done, Julia. Wide and big. That's good, Greta. Now, it's not a direct synonym, okay? Big is obviously the opposite of small, and there are words like enormous and giant that are connected to big. But wide is actually different, guys. It's not tranquil. Robbie, it's something different. Brew, happy birthday. Thank you, Brew. Thanks a lot for that. This is the strangest, best birthday I've ever had. So thanks a lot. So, guys, what do you think? If you don't know wide, let's go on to something else. Any of the words, guys? Wide, updated, or a mess? Anyone know? I'll help you out, guys. I'll give you 2 seconds and I'll tell you what wide is. Okay. So a synonym for wide is broad. Okay. Um, Updated is like news. An update is like news. Okay. But it's going to be something different here. Okay. The synonym for wide is, I don't know what that is, Tom, but maybe you're right. I don't know. Okay. Julia updated is renovated. Okay. Wide is this. Okay. It's big in a horizontal way. Okay. And the opposite is narrow. Okay. So in this phrase, we have a wide river. Okay. But you can also have a narrow river. Um, another another way we use wide, okay, is or broad even, is that someone can have broad shoulders. Okay, these are your shoulders, and if you have broad shoulders, what that means is you can take an insult very easily. Okay, so if you have broad shoulders, you can take something heavy. You can take a heavy weight. Okay, maybe this is some negative language from a person or a negative situation. Okay, Tom, hello there. Nice to see you too. Um, okay, uh, let's move on. So updated is renovated, as we said. And what about a mess, guys? Does anyone know what a mess is? It's an adjective here. Confused is great, Robbie, but it's not exactly the same. It's confused is more of a mental thing. Okay, Julia's right here in that we used jumbled. Okay, jumbled is for a mess with objects. A mess is a disaster. That's great, but a disaster is a lot more general. Okay, so a disaster can be a situation. A mess is sort of objects in the wrong place, Greta. Okay, and like Bruce said, a pile of junk, a mountain of junk, that's a mess too. So well done, guys. That was very, very good. Great. Okay, so the next thing, guys, I want you to find the sentences, two sentences in the paragraph that use the word since, and one that uses the word for. And I want the fastest person to write the phrase in the comment box, guys. Two phrases with since and one with for. Okay, off you go. Disorder is very good, Patricia. That's very good. A mess is disorder. So, guys, give me a since or a for phrase. Since she was born. Very good. That's great, Robbie. Well done. Okay. Since she was, yeah, since she was a child. Okay. Great. Okay. So another one, guys. She has been fishing since she was a child. Great. Okay. She's been fishing. She loves fishing. She's been fishing for over 50 years. Great. That's very good. And that's our for. Okay. So we've got nice examples of since and for there. Now, can anyone tell me which situations we use since and which situations we use for? Yeah, since she was a child, Robbie. That's very good. When do we use since and when do we use for? That's right, Julia. How do you know that, Julia? Okay. Since yeah, a specific point in time, like since 1991. Very good. So we've got, let's make a nice list. Okay, we've got since 1991. I'm just going to write it in the comments too. That's a nice example. Okay. Can anyone think of another example of since? Since 1991. Claudia, since when you know the exact moment in the past. Exactly, Claudia. Very good. Since I was born. Since I was a child. Since 1991. Give me another since, guys. Since April. Very good. Yeah, Robbie. Since a month. Okay. Anything else? Since I moved to Pescara. Yeah, very good. That's great, Julia, because since I moved to Pescara shows it's not necessarily a number. Okay, it can be since a point in my life, since I became a teacher. Okay, since I graduated, something like that. Very nice. Okay, so what about for? Can someone give an example of for? Since when you could refer. Yes, Patricia. Since is when you refer to a specific point. Robbie, for 3 months. That's very good. Okay. For refers to a period. That's great, Julia. Okay. So since is our point, and for we have been there for 2 hours. Exactly, Greta. Very good. Since is a point, and for is a duration. Okay. For ages. Does anyone know what for ages means? That's a great one. For ages. What does that mean? For years. Yeah, that's great. That's no problem, Julia. That's great, Claudio. Ages is an informal way to say a very long time. Okay, so it's not specific, um, but it means for a very long time. Um, you can use it in a small context, like I've waited for ages. Now this is maybe 2 hours, okay, but the point that we show, like Julia said here, is we put emphasis on it being a long period for something. So it's not necessarily years, it's just anything that you feel is a long time. Okay, and that's great, guys. That was very, very good. So well done. Let's move on to a new activity and look at some new language. Okay. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do now is that's exactly right, Julia. I've been waiting for ages. It kind of shows that you're not happy because you're waiting. Okay, so let's look at this. What I have here is a nice paragraph for you guys, but there are spaces. Okay, and what we need to do is we need to choose the correct grammar. Okay, now the grammar you can choose from is either present perfect or past simple. Okay, I want you to look at each space and I want you to decide how you fill the space. Like you can see the word live. Are you going to use present perfect or past simple? And are you going to use for or since? Okay, so let's all do that together and complete the spaces together. Okay, off you go. So Wes is from a really congested, densely populated city. It's urban, advanced, and metropolitan with construction and industry everywhere. That's exactly right, Greta. Very good. Okay. He has lived there for 6 years. Very good. That's great. Yes, Robbie. Very good. Okay. They, what do we think? Any ideas? What do we put for this? Yeah, that's very good, Greta. Okay. They have demolished, and that's very good, yeah. Great. Okay, that's great. Demolished and restructured. You can see there, guys, that we've used two different verbs. Okay, we've used demolished and restructured, but you only need to use the have one time. Okay, if you have an and in the middle, you can say they have demolished and restructured. It's not necessary to repeat the grammar again. Okay. And then that's right, guys. Yeah, it's every year since 2008 because 2008 is a point. Okay, so that was very, very good. It is disruptive and noisy. If he could, he would move to a new flat on a charming, quiet street. Great. So let's have a look at some of the vocabulary on this slide. Okay. Okay. Number one, guys, I want someone to find me the conditional phrase, and I want you to write the conditional phrase in the comment box. Okay, off you go. Yes, that's great, Patricia. Demolished and restructured since. Very good, yeah. So can anyone see? There we go. Okay. If he could, he would, etc. That's exactly right, Greta. That's an example of a conditional phrase, okay? And we use words like could, would, and may when we make our conditional phrases, okay? Very good. So let's move on to number two. Two synonyms for crowded, guys. Can anyone find two synonyms for crowded in the text? Noisy. Noisy is similar but not the same, Claudia. Claudia. Noisy is about volume. Okay, it's about when something is too loud and it's not nice. Okay. Um, okay, so if he could, he would is great, guys. Okay. And then Robbie, that's great. Densely populated means crowded. Okay, if something is dense, it is very tight and heavy. Okay, so this is a very tight, heavy population. Very good. Okay. Disruptive is not, maybe not direct, Julia. It's not exactly the same. Okay. Don't know the meaning of congested. Okay. Does anyone know what congested means? Sorry, guys, give me a sec. Okay, so congested is actually crowded. Okay, congested is another word for crowded. Generally, we use the word congested with traffic. Okay, it's more connected to cars and traffic on the street. Crowded is more for people, and densely populated is also for people. Okay, so congested is like crowded, but it's more for traffic. So let's move on then, guys. Two antonyms for calm and quiet. Now, an antonym is the opposite of something. If the synonym is the same, then the antonym is the opposite. Okay, so what do you think? Antonym for calm and antonym for quiet. No problem, Robbie, that's fine. Maria Luigi, here we go. Okay, that's right, very good. So disruptive and noisy. Julia, that's great, yeah. Disruptive and noisy. Noisy is the opposite of quiet, and disruptive is the opposite of calm. Okay, great guys. That's very, very good. Okay, loud also, Greta. Yeah, it's important to note that these words are really groups. Okay, there isn't always one opposite. Like, for example, if you have beautiful and ugly, okay, there are more ways you can say these words. Beautiful could be handsome or good looking or attractive. Ugly can be unattractive. There's not so many words for that. But these are all groups of words, guys. Okay, so yes, these are all great answers. Well done. They're all connected. So let's continue. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask you guys for some examples of some present perfect, and I want you to write some present perfect in the box. Okay, now present perfect looks like this. Okay, it's the subject plus have or has. I'm gonna write it for you, plus verb 3. Remember, verb 3 is something that we call the past participle. Okay. What I'd like you to try and do, guys, is I'd like you to try and answer question 2 for me. How has your hometown changed over the years? Has it changed for better or worse? I want you to try and answer that question and write a very small present perfect phrase for me in the box, and I will help you with it. Okay, so try and do that for me. I can do an example for you if you'd like one. I'll write one for you. My town has become my town's become quieter. How's that? That's my example for my town. Anyone else, guys? Anyone got one for me? Great. That's a great one, Robbie. Okay. Now, this word renovated, okay, that's a great example, but we're actually going to need to do this in passive, okay? It's what you were writing is an active phrase, and an active phrase is when something performs the action, okay? But your town has not performed the action, it has received the action, okay? And when we want to show this in a passive way, we're going to add been, okay? So your sentence is actually going to look like this. It has been renovated, okay? That been shows that it receives the action and it does not perform the action, okay? Julia, my hometown has changed a lot recently, a little L on the end. They have built, there we go, that's a very nice example, well done, okay. Can someone give me another one, guys? These are really nice, well done. Who else have I got in this group? What about Greta, Maria Luigi, Patrizia, Claudio, any of you guys? Can you think of a present perfect example for me? Greta, my town has become more populous. Great. There are lots of new that's perfect. That's excellent, Greta. Well done. That's a great example. Okay. So I'll ask you for one more example, guys, and then we'll move on to something new. Okay. That's great, Robbie. Okay. My city has become. Okay. Became is verb number 2, and you're going to use verb number 3, and the past participle here is actually become. Okay. Become, became, become. My town has become bigger. Okay, very good, Claudio. That's great. Well done. Now, something interesting here, guys, is that if you use these phrases without since or for, then it gives the significance of recently. Okay, so for example, Claudio has written, "My town has become bigger." There's no since or for, so the meaning is recently. Now, what you can do is you can add a since or for to show a point in the past. Okay, um, my town has become bigger since we built a new shopping mall. Okay, you can reference a point in the past, but if you don't use since or for, then the meaning is recently. Okay. Another example is if you say my town has become bigger for 4 years, what that means is it gets a bit bigger every year for 4 years. So you can talk about a continuous element, a continuous growth. Okay. So, guys, give me one more example of present perfect, and then we'll move on. If you want, I can do one more for you. Let's boost. How's that? My city has reduced crime. That's a nice one as well. Okay. What's nice, what I think is nice about it is that it's very important, everyone, to try and use a nice range of verbs. Okay. Try and use as many different past participles as you can when you speak and when you write, because the more words you use and the bigger your vocabulary is, the more flexibility you will have when you actually speak to people in real life. Okay. If you just focus on grammar formulas and you forget about your vocabulary, when you meet someone and you want to talk, you won't be able to use your grammar formula because you won't have the vocabulary. Okay. Uh, okay, so let's see. Robbie, the citizens of my city have become more responsible. Great, very nice. Because of the new rules about the corona. Yeah, exactly, Robbie. That's very good. Uh, Yeah, my city has lived a serious situation. That's very good. Okay. Um, that's very nice. You could say lived. Maybe a more natural word in this situation, Patricia, would be experienced. Okay. Has experienced a serious situation. Okay. These are amazing examples, guys. So well done. Let's move on to something new. Okay. Okay, so I've got another nice vocabulary slide for you. I've got, I can't speak, five phrases that we're going to match to the red, okay? And the blue phrases are in the sticks, downtown, suburbs, outskirts, and street smart or streetwise. Together, let's try and match the blue to the red and write the answer in the box, okay? Off you go. Any ideas, guys? So what does in the sticks mean? Greta, let me see. Okay. In the sticks, very rural. That's exactly right, Greta. Very good. Yes, Julia, that's great. In the sticks is very rural in the country. Okay. Great. Great job. Okay. So let's keep going. What about downtown? No problem, Patricia. That's fine. Well done, Pasquale. That's great. Yeah. Downtown is the city center. Okay. Okay. So what's next? What about the suburbs? And you know where the suburbs are. Yes, Robbie, very good. Okay, so the suburbs are the residential areas. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so suburbs are the residential areas outside the city. Um, the outskirts are further again. Okay, so the outskirts, like you said, Maria Luigi, are actually the edge of the city. Okay, so what these things are is that we have the center, um, city center in the UK. I think in Europe too, but in America they say downtown. Okay, and this is the middle part of the city. Normally, what's next is the suburbs, and the suburbs are where people live. Okay, so not in the center, but it's the majority of the houses around the center. Okay, and then finally, what you have then is the outskirts. Now, this is the last part of the city. Maybe it's industrial. Okay, maybe there are large spaces of land. Not so many people live there, and it's the last part of the city before it becomes another location. Okay, so the outskirts are the very last part. Another word we have for the outskirts is the periphery, which I believe is similar in Italian. Okay, so great, guys. And then the last thing we have here is street smart and streetwise. If someone is street smart, what that means is they're able to deal with problems of urban life. Okay, what that means is that someone is educated by the city. Okay, so if someone um, lives in a city for a long time and they understand the ways to live in a comfortably within a city. Okay, so if you were street smart in Rome, then you know the the good restaurants, but you also know the tourist restaurants. So you know to avoid the tourist restaurants. Okay, you know which bus is the dangerous bus. You know which streets are safe, which streets are not safe. And this is what streetwise or street smart is when you understand the most comfortable way to live in a city. Okay, guys, if you have any questions for any of that, let me know, and I will move on to the next activity. Okay. Okay, so what I'd like you to do, guys, is I want you to, for question one, I want you to write the name of your hometown, and I want you to tell us how you would describe your hometown. Okay, maybe describe it in 3 words for me. Okay, but I want some nice level 8 words, not level 4. What about a neighborhood? Americans use it a lot. That's great. Yeah, very good, Pasquale. A neighborhood is a section of the suburbs. Okay, so it's a zone. Okay, your zone in Italy is a neighborhood in America, and we also say neighborhood in the UK too. Okay, so you have a nice neighborhood, a calm neighborhood. It's the zone where you live. Okay, so guys, any words to describe where you live? Let's think of some nice level 8 to 10 adjectives. No problem at all. That's fine. What do you think, guys? Any good words to describe where you live? If that's a bit more difficult, guys, don't worry about that. We can do another question for you. Okay. So let's pick another question from the list. Great. Okay, that's great, Greta. So let's talk about question number 2. Okay, Claudio. Historically is the adverb. Okay, and historical is the adjective. Okay, if you have that "ly" on the end, that "ly" is normally for an adverb. Okay, so you're looking for an adjective to describe the town. Greta, there's some advantages when you live in the sticks. For example, the streets are never so noisy. That's a great example, Greta. Okay. Okay. Example is like this with an A, right? Example. Ah. Patricia says, small, lovely, little town on the sea. Perfect, Patricia. Very good. Okay. Okay. What are the advantages of living in the suburbs, everyone? Can you think of an advantage of living there? No problem at all, Claudia. That's no problem, Greta. That's fine. So, some advantages to living in the suburbs. Anyone got any ideas? I got a nice word for you guys. I'm going to write it for you. With the suburbs, I think it's convenient. Okay. Now, what does the word convenient mean? Does anyone know? There isn't traffic. That's great. Yeah, there isn't traffic, Maria Luigi. Okay. You can enjoy the quiet more than the center. Yeah, that's very good. Okay. Okay. If you live in the suburbs, you can avoid the traffic. Downtown is always crowded and there are no parking spaces. Great. Okay. Robbie, the advantages of living in the sticks is definitely that your life is more restful. I agree with you completely, Robbie. That's great. Okay. So before I move on, does anyone know what convenient means? What does that mean? Yeah, that's great, Claudia. Very good. Convenient means easy. Okay, so maybe the suburbs are convenient because there are more shops, maybe in comparison to the sticks. Now, this is the thing, Greta, okay? It's not connected to money. It's a false friend in Italian. Convenient, the false friend in Italian is connected to it being not expensive, okay? But in English, it's not connected to money, okay? It just means easy. For example, the supermarket in my zone is very convenient because it's near my house, okay? So it's easy to use. It's not connected to money, it just means easy, okay? Okay, and that was very, very good, guys. Well done. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, let's have a look at these questions, guys. Okay, what I want to do is maybe change the grammar a little bit and work on some conditionals, okay, and some future, okay. So let's do number 4 on this slide, guys, okay? If you could change one thing about your hometown, what would it be? Okay? This is a conditional phrase. So try and write that down and finish it with information for you. Okay? Any ideas, guys? I'll go first, okay? If I could change anything about my town, I would. What I do? I would open a. I don't know. I would open a shopping center. Maybe something like that. So that's a nice example, okay? My city is messy, polluted, and crowded, but also an amazing city. That's great, Robbie. Okay, very good. It sounds like Rome. I used to live in Rome, so I know exactly what you mean. I have the same opinion about Rome. Julia, if I could change one thing about my hometown, it would be making the beach free for everyone without making people pay for an umbrella. That is a great example, Julia. Great. If I could, it would be, if I could change one thing, about. Okay, about. That's perfect. That's a really nice example, Julia. Well done. Okay. So, what other things can we change about our town, guys? We can change the shops. We can change if it's polluted or crowded. Where Julia and I live by the beach, we would change the beach. Okay, Greta, if I could change, remember, you need that main verb. If I could change one thing about my hometown, I would open more pubs and bars. Where do you live, Greta? I thought you lived in Pescara. There's lots of pubs and bars, but anyway. Okay, great. Um, okay, so give me one more, guys. One more example, and then we'll do a nice review of this language. Okay. Patrizia, if I were rich, I would allow to free part. Okay, yeah, exactly. Same thing as Julia, Patricia. That's great. If I were rich, I would allow. Okay, I would allow. You could say, I would allow free access to the beach for everyone. Okay. Or you could say, I would give everyone a free pass to the beach. Bobby, because sometimes they're not. No, I know exactly what you mean. Okay, this concept of open-minded is an extra ed on the end, like that. Okay. Okay. So that was very, very good, guys. Let's move on to some future tenses. Okay. Let's just use will to make predictions. Okay. Let's look at number 5. How will your hometown change in 5 years? Okay, let's answer that question like this. I think my hometown will. Oh, let's try and finish that phrase, guys. Give me a nice, clean example of that phrase. Okay. It won't change. No, my town, where I'm from, Pasquale, I don't think will change in the UK. But okay, that's a good answer. No problem. Anything else? Anyone got another one? Let's have some nice, interesting verbs, everyone. Oh, yeah. Is that in Rome, Robbie? That's great. Okay. Great. That's great, Julia. Okay. So, Pasquale, you're from Napoli. Oh, yeah. Maybe it won't change so much then. Okay. So, Robbie, when you use the word start or finish, Okay. Start or finish. You're going to use the verb with ing. Okay. You're also going to use finish with ing. So they will finish constructing the metro, start building the metro. Okay. Julia, I think my hometown will build modern buildings for new people to come. That would be nice. Yeah. Maybe if they fix the old buildings too. Okay. So give me one more example of these guys and then we'll do a review. Okay. Greta, in 10 years, my hometown will be bigger with lots of new apartments and parks. That's perfect. Very, very nice. Okay. So I think these are quite easy for you guys. These have been very good. Okay. Let's do a review. Now, we're not going to write anything down, but what we're going to do is we're going to do a little review of the language we've done to this point. Okay. What we've done today, everyone, is we've talked about some language for your hometown. We've done a review of present perfect, and we've used the words for and since. Okay. So let's have a look at that again. Okay. So let's do this quickly together, guys. Synonym for small. Does anyone remember what small synonym is? Small is tiny. Very good, Robbie. Great. Wide. Does anyone know what that is? Wide. Great, Julia. Great, Greta. Okay. What was wide? Wide and big. Big is general, Robbie. Okay, but we're doing horizontal, and that's it, Julia. Broad. Okay, is the horizontal version of it. Great, Maria Luigi. Updated is renovate. I can't speak. Renovated. Very good, Robbie. Okay. Great, Greta. Okay, and finally, a mess is. A mess is jumbled. I knew you'd answer that one, Julia. Very good. Okay. Okay. What we also did is we reviewed disorder. Disorder is another word for jumbled, basically. Maria Luigi. Very good. So present perfect we covered today, and we use since and for to show since being a point in the past, and for is for a period or duration. Okay, so we did some nice examples of that. We did some synonyms for crowded. The synonyms are congested, and what was the other one? Densely populated. Okay. We also did antonyms for calm and quiet, and they are disruptive and noisy. Okay, and I asked you for some nice examples. In the sticks is very rural. Downtown is the city centre. Suburbs are the residential areas. The outskirts are the end of the city. And street smart or wise is able to deal with problems of urban life. So we'll stop there, guys, okay? I've run out of time, unfortunately, but it's been really nice talking to you all again, and I hope this has been interesting and useful for you. There'll be a 10-minute break now, and in 10 minutes there will be another great 8 to 10 focus from my English school. I can't speak anymore. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been lovely talking to you, and I will see you in the next lesson, okay? Thank you, everyone, and well done.